But as we head into what will be the trade deadline season here coming up, that's the piece I wonder with a lot of these teams, because if you look across the Detroit market, that's the teams are kind of in a similar spot where there's a lot of young guys, there's a lot of depth, whether you're talking the Tigers, the Pistons, the Red Wings. And so then it's always the decision, do we wait for some development from these young pieces that are showing a lot of development, a lot of potential, or do we consolidate some of the pieces? Because you're talking about kind of the veteran rotation in Grand Rapids, where we're talking about shuffling players back and forth to Detroit. Do you guys see them trying to make in any sort of moves to consolidate a few of these young pieces and take, because you got to think a big swing is coming at some point, right, via free agency, via trade, or maybe they just wait for the development. I'm kind of one that I like to develop the young core, and I don't necessarily need to consolidate the pieces, but a lot of fans would say, hey, let's consolidate these pieces and see what we can do. What do you think, Nick? You're pondering here in studio.
Yeah, it's hard to say, because like, you look at this team, and before the season, like we're looking at it, we're like, we're gonna have ASP, we're gonna have Emmett Finney, we're gonna have FBN, we're gonna have Nate Danielson, then we got AMO, Carter's coming back, and then like we don't have any of those guys, right? Like Carter's out with an injury, AMO's out with an injury. You got guys that are up in Detroit, and then it's got like Hull and Gus are driving from Detroit and back every day. So you're like, on the personal side, you look at it, you're like, these guys can't continue to drive back and forth. So you would expect them to, find an NHL team to go be with, and that Steve's trying to work the phones and trying to trade them to just do right by the person, right? So you think that happens? Possibly. It's hard. We just let Beargrid through waivers, and we lost him to St. Louis, doing very well right now. You look at some of the forwards of trying to trade those. You got some young pieces here that you've got enough data on, so you could try to move those that are still young and just might need a change of scenery, like Johnny Burgers. So it's tough to say like what's out there, what's available, and try not to mess too much with the chemistry of this team, because what you think too is when we look back towards the spring, you're going to have college ending, you're going to have the international side is going to be ending as well that season. And so those guys will come over here to Grand Rapids, and then they add into the chemistry and they add into the flow of the team. And so it's, you might lose somebody here, but then they pick up here. But like everybody's really picking up the pieces. Like Brandon said, like we're losing guys to Detroit, and it doesn't matter. Like we're continually going through this, and everybody's carrying their weight and then some to continue this crazy record that we're on.